Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Well, good morning. Nick Collier here, and we've got another little mini project here. It's not a real exciting one, but hey, it's a project, and we're gonna make a little money on it, and I get to rant and rave about engineers. Classically trained, well, not classic, modern trained engineers. They have no sense of proportion. We're going to come around to this and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so we've got this simple little project. Basically, I'm just going to bore a hole in this piece of material. This is about a half an inch. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes, 600 thousandths for the outside diameter and 505 thousandths plus or minus 1 thousandths for the inside diameter. And this is, the outside diameter is plus or minus 1 thousandths. So this is what the engineers got. Okay, so you go and you set up for this and you're going to stay within a 1 thousandths tolerance. And that's okay, I don't mind doing that. But it's typical. I talked to the guy who actually is going to need this and going to apply this to his project. He says, oh yeah, it's anywhere in 5 thousandths is fine. And it was like, wait a second, the engineer wants 1 thousandths. So, I just want to, engineers, they drive me crazy. If it's not important, don't put a 1 thousandths tolerance on it. My God. So anyhow, we'll stop that. So the difference is that there's a 5 thousandths concentric circle that's going to be just a little bit off from the outside diameter. And in this one, there's 10 thousandths. Now what's happened is this guy built this project for this company, and they got ready to assemble it, and two of the bolt holes were off by 5 thousandths. And the company's in Findlay, Nevada, and the guy is in Sacramento. So and he doesn't have time to do it himself, and so he's hired me to do this, and he's going to pick it up on Wednesday morning. So let's get on with the project, and enough of my ranting and raving. Okay, and so I just finished the earring project yesterday afternoon, and this mess is still here, and I think, and I'm going to be cutting aluminum again, and you know how aluminum is, it's just kind of, it's everywhere. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and leave the mess and cut my pieces and then clean up the lathe. So I don't know, someplace I put those blocks. Here they are. So we're just going to kind of bring it in, and one of these days I'm going to take this chuck apart and get the heavy grease that the original manufacturer put on it. And we want 2 inches. Let me go get a scale. So we got 3 inches there, no problem. Tighten her up. Let's pull this because we're not going to need that anymore. This is the tracer attachment head, and I like to have it out of the way when I'm not using it. We're going to spin our head around. A little bit more. There we go. Draw it back. Crank it up. we've cut 620 thousandths out here, and we're going to drill a hole in there somewhere under 500. Better go the right way, huh? All right, well, before we move into doing this mill work, I want to show you my newest acquisition, which is this jumping jack that I picked up in a trade for some labor, which was pretty cool. And actually, not just the jumping jack, but I got an entire mill, an old M head, and this was on the back of it. So I traded for the M head for the entire mill, drug it up here from Sacramento, and then put it on my mill, and now I have a mill. Well, you know, it was kind of beat up and it needed some help, and I'm giving it some help and putting parts on it. Actually, it was pretty well stripped. So I'm rebuilding it, and at some point or another I'm going to sell it. Here's a picture. Well, this jumping jack is pretty exciting for me, not because I'll use it that much, but that it gives me the ability, one more ability to be flexible. So I finally got it all hooked up just yesterday, which was, wow, that was pretty cool. And then I flicked the switch, and there it goes. And it's hooked up to my electronic converter, which means that as the mill travels faster, this travels faster. So, but for right now, I'm actually waiting on some toolings that I can make because it's round stock and it kind of comes out here, and I have to make some toolings so that you know, I can use it. I got a first project to do on it right away, but you know, we got to wait for the tooling to show up. So for the moment, we're going to flip this thing around and bring the mill head back in position. Okay, so we're going to pull the old switcheroo here, which is about the coolest thing I can think of. Bridgeport, you know, it took them a bunch of years to figure this out, but they did it, and I get to use their technology. So I've loosened all the bolts, and now basically I just spin this head back around. And since we've got the head pushed all the way back, I want to come forward in order to make room for the jumping jack back there. But that should be pretty easy. we go. And it fits perfect. And I get to maintain 0 on the jumping jack, because when I do this project, I want to be able to spin this thing back around and have 0 sitting right there. So we're going to drag this over to 0. Tighten everybody up. And we're back to milling position. Now, I think what we want to do here is we want to drop down a bit. All right, so now we need to take our mill bit out. Okay, so we're cutting the exterior, and we're taking it down to, what is our measurement here? 594 plus or minus, or plus 1/1000th. So we have a 1/1000th variance in here. And since my boring bit isn't 2 inches long, I'm going to have to take one section, finish it off, cut it off, and go ahead and do the other section. So, you know, it takes a little extra time, but, you know, it's fine. I can do it. Okay, so we've got the outside diameter. Let's see, let's make one last measurement and make sure. Right at 0.95. And so now let's change our bit. And we're going to move it into the center. We'll rotate it around, loosen it up a bit. We're going to drag it in towards the center a little bit more. Or a lot more, actually. Nope, the other way. Yeah, that looks like it's going to do just fine. Let's keep going. And then the center hole wants to be inconsistent with the outer hole by 10 thousandths. So we want to move it that way 10 thousandths. And that's going to be pretty straightforward. There's 10. And how are we doing? pretty good. All right, we're cutting. So let's just take a skim cut just to see where we're at. Oops, we need to go the other way. All right, let's take another 10. All right, so we've got our hole cut to the right size. We've got the perimeter cut. Now we need to cut this thing off. And we're just going to start right here at the bottom of this cut. Now it has to come back to 800 thousandths, so we've got plenty of room. Yeah, we got plenty of room. I cut it at a bit of an angle, but 850 is right, where's 850? Right there. So we got tons of room. All right, so there's one. Now, pull out some of this sponge here. I'm thinking we need some air. And since we're all set up to bore, let's just pull this head back just a few thousandths and take our cut and come back in and do the interior first. And we're just gonna barely touch it. bad. We got an edge on the inside, but that can be taken out fairly easily. Since we're talking about aluminum here, probably just do it by hand. There it is. All right, and we want to find our center point. So we're going to come in with the center finder here. Get somewhat of a square edge going and put a mark. Okay, and we are done with the Bridgeport for the moment. What do we got here? Yeah, just a piece of material. All right, so now we got to go over to the lathe and for one, cut this off, and for another, get these cut to length. And then we're set to go. All right, so half of them we cut off over on the mill, and this half we're going to cut off here on the lathe. So that's pretty easy. We just dropped our saw in, get it started. There it is. There's one. And we'll come back. Well, okay, I got going on this project and forgot to turn the camera on, but basically all we had left to do was to cut this down to 875, which is where we're at right there. I'm at 877 or 8, whoops, a little bit more than that, 880. And maybe we could take that down a little bit further. And then come in and clean up the inside edges, and then come in. I'll probably just take a little bit of sandpaper and catch this outside edge just so that it isn't sharp. And this will be a done project. We'll go over and have a look at all of them once I get them filed and cleaned up. All right, so we've got them, and I've gotten a really fine jeweler's file from my jewelry part of my shop, and we're just going to kind of clean up the outside surface. I guess we could just throw it on the lathe, but you know, I feel like just doing it by hand. That's good. I'll do a little bit of chamfering on the inside. That looks pretty good. All right, there we go. We got 4 pieces. 2 at 5 thousandths off center and 2 at 10 thousandths off center. So that was a short little project. Only took me about 4 hours. The biggest part was the setup. Once it was set up, then it went pretty smoothly. But hey, this is Nick Collier, and you know, if you like what you saw, press the little like button down there just below the screen there, and subscribe, and tell your friends. Hey, Nick Collier, checking out.